And now it's time for Getting Real Cleveland. And I am your host. That's right. The host with the most, Doug Duke, is back. I am here with Mr. Cleveland Film, as always. Mike Went, how we doing?
I'm doing great. I just got back from a screening of Network at the Cleveland Cinematheque. My God, what a masterpiece.
Yeah.
It's the new 4K restoration. It looked beautiful. It was funny, and I loved it. So glad to hear talk about this other very
Oh,
good film.
yeah. We are here for the 20th anniversary of Michael Mann's Miami Vice. And I got my Vice boys here today. We got Styles Wolf Baker. How you doing, buddy?
Great to see you, Doug. Nice to meet you, Mike, and thanks for the invite. Really excited to talk about Michael Mann's Miami Vice.
Hell yeah. And the other Vice boy, what's going on? Matt Lingo, how you doing over there, man?
What's up? Good to be here.
That's right, baby. The Vice Boys. Why are we called the Vice Boys? Wow. Well, that's an interesting question, isn't it? Well, March 20th, no, March 12th, 2020.
Hmm.
Me, Styles, and Lingo over here. We went to the Alamo Draft House, downtown LA, to see Miami Vice. We had tickets weeks beforehand, but, and I actually looked this up the other day. March 13th, old great President Trump, he closed down the world on March 13th. So March 12th, if you guys recall, a lot of those tickets, like people were canceling, and we ended up going anyways. And they were none too happy to have us there. That's for sure. I remember that. I remember the bartender was wearing like rubber gloves, and I remember asking him, "How you doing today?" He goes, "Well, I'm wearing rubber gloves," and I was like, "Okay, I will take my beer." But but us three, we sat in the front. Um, it was a phenomenal screening because not only was it Michael Mann's Miami Vice, which is a masterpiece that we were all going to really dig into all of you to tell you that today, but this was the day we proved, or Michael Mann proved, to our buddy Styles here that Miami Vice was in fact, a masterpiece. Isn't that right, Styles?
That is correct. That is correct. Yeah, I mean I'd be curious how everyone kind of came to this film or their, appreciation of Mann and as we get along. But I had seen the film before, and I know this is like the laziest sort of critical term, but like I didn't get it. I just like it just I was into films when it came out. I remember seeing the poster, and trust me, I was already into a lot of weird films and whatnot, and I do remember thinking like, really, another reboot of like an old 80s thing. And I wasn't very familiar. I'd like to get into this a little bit too, but like I wasn't very familiar with the series. I literally seeing clips or little pieces, from when I was like a literal child, like at grandma's house in the middle, in the middle of a Tuesday or whatever. And so I just kind of wasn't aware of it. But again, in the early 2000s, it seemed like that huge reboot, remake. There's always been reboots, there's always been remake sequels, but like somehow in that era, it was starting to be like, man, everything is kind of being remade or rebooted, and thank God that trend ended way back when, um, and so yes, and I had seen the film prior, and like I said, I just didn't quite get it. I was like, I don't know if this romance thing makes any sense. What the hell is anybody talking about? What is all like the jargon and all this stuff? Um, our dear friend Matt Lingo, he held the fire the entire time. And since I know you guys have been talking about Tenet, it must be publicly acknowledged Mr. Matt Lingo was a Tenet head from the very beginning, and
Yeah,
now we're all dosed, So but anyways, yes. On the advice of Doug and Matt, they're like, dude, it's gonna be crazy. Just like kind of trust me. And also speaks to a thing about seeing a film in a theater versus, I think the first time I saw it was on Netflix or something, so not, exactly quite the ideal thing. And like you said, Doug, we sat in the front row. And these theaters are a little bit smaller, so we're not craning our necks, but the screen is right there. And in the first 10 minutes, I was just kind of like, okay, I think I get it now. Like honestly, I'm just like when the film is just like blasting you in the face and it's so loud, as many Michael Mann films are, it just I was just mesmerized. It's a little bit of an overused kind of adjective, but it really was. It was just a turning point, and then going back since then, meaning basically over the pandemic until now, and I'd seen a lot of his films prior as well. Revisiting his movies, I just get it, and we can get into what getting it even means, but just like
Yeah.
his themes, his visuals, the way that things are paced, et cetera, et cetera. And I don't want to get too ahead of it, but yeah, that screening was really crazy. And I remember us texting saying, are we sure we want to go? And we're like, well, they haven't like shut down, we haven't been locked down yet, but we were a little like iffy. And when we showed up, it was like, what, 40% of the theater or something was
Yeah.
there when it was
It
initially
It's like
sold
half
out.
empty.
Yeah, right. And I think it was only probably like a 50-60 seater. And I think that's also why we are like, fuck it, let's just sit in the front row because we will be away from people. But
Yeah.
that was a great day. But yeah, but Lingo, uh, what I mean, Lingo, you already loved the movie, right? So like that was like a big it was just like exciting for us to go to this screening, even though we probably shouldn't have. And I'm still glad we did.
Yeah, as Styles alluded to, I was one of the original soldiers for Miami Vice. Like I'm actually pretty sure, because I saw it on the Sunday that it came out. I'm pretty sure that this is the day when we're recording. This is actually the 20-year anniversary of the first time that I saw Miami Vice.
That's awesome.
Amazing.
And I still remember it so vividly. I went with my 13-year-old cousin and a friend of mine. At the time, I'd seen Collateral and Manhunter, so that was like my frame of reference for Michael Mann. I was like, oh, this will be perfect for 13-year-old boy. They're all gonna be like gunfights and cops. And we went, and then I was like, oh shit, this is it was like 10 in the morning. I had slept for like 6 hours. This is how you know it was 2006. During the movie, I was so tired that I had to leave and get a surge soda just to get some caffeine. But even then, when I was 18, even then I like was fascinated by the movie. I like knew that something was up because I was like, wow, it's all these scenes of just these people sitting and talking. Like I was fascinated by the ways that it was subverting the expectation of the cop movie, even though I wasn't really sure if it was good or what it was. And
Mhm.
then that ending happened, and like Auto Rock, the Mogwai song starts playing, and I was just completely like stunned into silence. Like it felt like all the threads of the film were being pulled tight with just those last like 2 minutes. And I like walked out of the theater just like shocked in the silence. I was just like, oh my God. And it was like my thought was that like there's no way any film could affect me like that ending did if it was anything other than a masterpiece. Even though I hadn't been sure about it up until just those moments when it suddenly like crystallized.
Yeah.
And what did the 13-year-old think?
I don't think anyone else had a very good time watching it.
Well, that makes me want to tell my little origin of it too, because I was definitely so when that came out in 2006, I saw it. I didn't see it opening day, but it was like I feel like this movie even came out on a Wednesday if anybody wants to like look it up.
Oh,
Um
maybe.
So I think I just went like a day or two later. My friend Fern had already seen it, and at the time he was living near the Grove, I think. So I think we saw it at the Grove in LA. Um, like we went like 2 days later, and like Fern was supposed to go to work, by the way. Like he was working on like a reality show, and he just quit. And he went to see Miami Vice with me for his second time. But
Nice.
anyway, at that point I was like literally in this Michael Mann kick where I came back around to rewatch Ali, and I was like so in love with that director's cut. There's some extra stuff in there that I actually do think is better than the theatrical. So I was just like in this heavy Michael Mann kick. So when Miami Vice came out and I went to see it, I was like, that was absolutely fucking amazing. So I was also like day one or whatever, like when that came out and I saw it. And I knew I was like, Mann was somewhat a part of the original series, I think, in a way.
I think he
But
was the
Executive
creator.
producer.
right, he was a
Yeah.
producer at
No,
least.
no,
Yeah,
he's not the creator. I
Oh,
have some stuff about the TV series that
yeah,
I
yeah.
have notes on, but he's not the credited creator, but he was the executive producer of the original series.
Okay,
got it.
right.
Got
So I knew that, and I just knew also, and especially after Collateral too, because this is the movie after Collateral where, he did already use half film and then he went half digital on like Collateral, and then Miami Vice is all digital, and
Right.
and then the jump ahead to that, I mean, like most things are shot on digital now, and nothing to this day looks like what 2006 Miami Vice looks like,
No.
which is incredible, from Dion Beebe. But anyway, I was just like super excited, and I just thought that movie was unbelievable, and and obviously I still do because here we are. Um, and it also like what to harp a little bit on what Lingo said. Um, Bad Boys 2 had already come out. So I remember kind of being like, I was like, this is like the real undercover cop movie. Like, this is real. This is far more realistic. There's like real shit happening. There's real, like drama. There's like the characters, they're really going through something. Like, this is, hey, whatever. I have a good time with Bad Boys 2. But you know what I mean? In comparison of like, like that was like something because that was like such a big movie in a way. But
Yeah.
like, the Michael Mann Miami Vice undercover is like real deal, just like everything. They're pros, just the characters and the details and his romances, which again, like what Styles already alluded to, we're gonna get into that because there's a lot of parallels with everything that he's made, but definitely Heat. Um, but before we do all that, and I can keep rambling about how much I love this movie and my 2006 time, let's jump over to Mr. Cleveland Film here because he has just watched it for the second time in his life today, like finished it.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh,
Well, the
wow.
first time I saw it, I was interning in New York City, and a friend of mine who was also on the internship, we went to go see Clerks 2, and because in New York City at the time there was not assigned seats, and a lot of layers or levels of movie theaters there, so like they don't really check. So we rolled out of Clerks 2, we went right into Miami Vice. So yeah, it has been a 20-year gap, but I am glad to say I revisited. It's like a not like I wasn't a fan of the movie, just like I don't know, I see so many, but it just wasn't something that I felt like I had to revisit, over and over again. But I am a I mean I'm a big Michael Mann fan, but for some reason that one at the time, like I liked it, but I didn't love it. So
Yeah. And that's why we're all here today. We are, what happened to Styles in 2020 at that screening. We are going to convince you here today, whether we have to hold you down virtually or not. You are going to love Miami Vice at the end of this. Um,
Doug, I just wanted to cut in briefly because you mentioned Dion Beebe. I'm guessing that's how it's pronounced, but the DP, he
yeah.
also shot Collateral, so he had worked with Mann before, and he's scheduled to allegedly, I mean, based on IMDb's, to shoot Heat 2.
Me too. There
Which
was
is
just this
no, go
there was
ahead.
just this story today. I can't remember who published it, talking about a little bit of the like studio background for Heat 2. And it talked about how Amazon MGM are like convinced that it's gonna make $500 million because they think like all the like dads are gonna go see it and it's gonna be a whole thing. And all I could think when I was watching Miami Vice today is how funny it's gonna be when Heat 2 comes out and it's like exactly like this. And everyone's kind of like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah, I mean, it probably is gonna be. I mean, that would be a miracle if it does do that, and that would be awesome. I mean, it does at least have Leo and Bale, that they're gonna be riding on. Which
To
also, by the way, side note to that is like that's actually like, you know, like at first it didn't seem like it was going to be like that high profile, and then the fact
Right.
that you went from Pacino, De Niro, and then like the next generation, you were literally getting two of the best actors of theirs, and it's pretty incredible on that end. But I hope it does well, but I mean,
Also, to your point, Matt, I mean, that's kind of been a little bit of the story with
Yeah.
every Mann film since Miami Vice. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a little
Exactly.
bit of a different thing. Heat is, I'd argue slightly more like accessible, whatever, than his more digital kind of crazy cinematography films or whatnot. But I mean,
yeah.
could happen.
Well,
Black
I
Hat,
think
I think, made $8 million. Eight, eight,
yeah, and
and
that
that
movie.
movie is awesome.
Yes, exactly what I was gonna say. They all are. And so that's kind of what I want to bring up is we all say this is a masterpiece. And like for the most part now though, I think there's enough chatter in the air, in the wind, articles that there's enough people that's been in the talk long enough now that that
Yeah.
is that is legitimate. It's not just us three right now saying that, right?
No. Now
But
that's
no, go ahead.
I said like now that's like not quite a mainstream opinion, but it kind of is. Like so many people talk about it that it feels like the narrative is completely changed. I
Right.
mean, the last time I saw it in theaters, was selling out the Egyptian in LA. It was like a big theater. Like, it just
It's
played in LA again yesterday. It plays like every year now, essentially in rep, which is
yeah.
crazy because that was not the case before 2020. That Alamo Drafthouse screening that we went to was like, I'm pretty sure the first time that it had screened, at least in Los Angeles, since it came out in 2006. And now it's like every year, like the conversation has changed completely about that film.
Right. And that's crazy. And that was going to be brought up here at one point anyway. The last time I actually watched it, I actually took a year off last year, which is crazy. But the last time I watched it was we were there, Lingo. We went to the Egyptian, and it was Michael Mann's first time had done a Q&A
Oh yeah.
since like 2006, or like probably at one of the festivals or whatever, the premieres or whatever. And he was very energetic. He was really happy. Like, and I don't know what the Egyptian fits now, but before the renovations, it was like at least like 600 people. So,
Yeah,
I mean, I imagine it's still like four or 500. And, and what's funny is those same people, for the Miami Nice podcast, like Katie Walsh and, what's his name? Blake, Howard, right?
Howard. Yeah,
Yeah, so they threw one exactly the year before that too. So I think the screening we're talking about was 2004 because it was like, like months before I moved here back to Cleveland. So that was 2004. So 2003, it was like the exact August date of the same. They did another one, but that was in the Los Feliz 3, so that's like 100 seat. That easily sold
yeah.
out. And that's so cool that just like what Lingo was saying, a year later, like they sell out the Egyptian, and it was, man, that was such a great screening. We hung out at the what the fuck's next door? What's it
What,
called?
Mr. Tembo?
Yeah, right.
They
So,
closed that though. It's gone
is
now.
it gone? Of course it is.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Used to be the Pig and Whistle, and then it turned
Yeah.
into that shit. And um, but anyway, the whole point of all that was, um, I think the reason we all call it a masterpiece, and some of us maybe like Lingo and I like loved it immediately, is I think it also is a culmination of who Michael Mann is, like from even where he was, like I mean you can say Jericho Mile, but Thief for sure. Thief is literally like the Neil story in a way from Heat. Like it's the pro thief. Like it's all business. He's the best at what he does. And then Manhunter is like Hannah, which is Pacino's character. So you kind of just mix Manhunter and Heat. I mean, Manhunter and Thief, and you get Heat with like your two main characters. Um, but that my whole point is just like that culmination of his career to get to the point of what Miami Vice is. Like, sure, there's always going to be the people that love Heat, and nothing's ever going to top that. And and there's the people that love Thief and Manhunter too. So like when something like Miami Vice comes out, it kind of becomes this polarizing thing. But if you and just like how me and Styles have been talking about Christopher Nolan, if you've paid attention to Michael Mann's career, this is why we consider this movie a masterpiece, because it is the combination of all these pieces and all these things that he's chased throughout his career, and like what he does and what he brings into this Miami Vice movie is still like, just again watched it literally on 2 days ago. Tuesday was the 28th, 20th and actual 20th anniversary, and my jaw still just drops to the floor. My heart still breaks for Sonny and Isabella. It is such a beautiful, great movie. And it's just like that movie starts, and like, and we'll get into this too, because I know Styles wants to talk about the theatrical and director's cuts. But when you watch the theatrical and it
just
just
a theatrical cut.
yeah, exactly. So when the theatrical starts, you are in the club, and if you take your eyes off the screen for a second, you are missing a very important detail, and you are fucked, because it's not holding your hand. They're literally watching what's going on, and they're on a whole nother case. And then they get a call from Alonzo, and it makes them drop their case. Like I think like Trudy or whatever comes up, and I forget what the guy's name is, and he's like, "Well, it's his lucky night." And then they literally jump on to what happens to Alonzo, and then that puts them in, and that's what the movie's about after that, where they go undercover on a whole new case. And like that is just like that's the setup of this movie. And that's something where like Styles was talking about, like, oh, and like some people go, oh, who cares? I don't get it. It's just vibes. And like, sure, if you want to watch it like that, but there is actually a story and a plot going on that there is something to follow. But if you take your eyes off, it's not a movie like I'm gonna sit at home on my phone or whatever, or just check out while trying to watch a movie. Watch this movie and pay attention. It is absolutely fucking incredible. It's all about the details, like every fucking Michael Mann movie.
Yeah, I'd like to jump on just that point right there, because to jump off of what you just said, I think there are two ways to um watch and think about this film, and they're both totally legitimate, and they're and whatnot. I think a lot of the quote vibes uh uh segment of viewers is like those are the people who are almost like coming to it now, you know. But if exactly what you said, if you watch this movie with subtitle, if you watch this movie with no with in the theater, whatever, it's a maximalist like experience, and it is just like vibes. If you watch this movie with subtitles, which I did, you get so much stuff, and it's not technical stuff, it's character stuff. There's Michael Mann is he's able to do this dialogue where people say like three words, they mumble it, you can barely understand what they say, and it's like that guy has been thinking about those words for the last 30 years or something. That's I'm speaking abstractly. But I'm saying like, and there again, we'll get into it. I'm just saying like this movie is all of his movies kind of operate. There's a like Manhunter is a huge thing and I love Manhunter. I think I've literally watched, I'm gonna sound like a crazy person, like a dozen times last year. Not all like dedicated watches, but a handful of dedicated watches, and then bits and pieces, or just put it on without sound and just kind of watch the edits or the images and everything. That's a huge movie, and like kind of, obviously it's related to Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal Lecter, that whole like the horror kind of scene. I mean, that that I, that movie is not like a horror movie at all. It's a Michael Mann movie with a serial killer in it. You know what I mean? I think there's like a difference. I think that's one reason why Silence of the Lambs is, and we don't have to get into the whole thriller, horror, whatever nonsense. But I think that's one reason why Silence of the Lambs is kind of considered, quote, more of a horror movie, and Manhunter is, it's about
Yeah.
a detective, really, and it's really about like psychology at the end of the day. Like, um, and so is Miami Vice. Miami Vice. I mean, I'll just, you can direct it, but I mean, again, I think there's two ways you can watch Miami Vice as well. You can watch it as, you reference Bad Boys 2 earlier, buddy cop action, etc. You can watch it like that too, or it's like a treatise on like existential pain. Really, like, and I'm saying they're both valid. They're both kind of like in conversation with each other, but like it's not um again, I'm almost like getting ahead, but it's like it's a movie in conversation like with itself. And yeah, there's a lot going on. I have a lot of notes, but yeah, take it back away from me.
um, I mean, does anybody else have anything to say about like what we've been talking about, or
Mike, chime in.
I
we
mean,
need we need Mike thoughts.
no. I mean, I do. I can totally see why people would say this is just kind of like a vibes movie and everything. But revisiting it today, it was I, he could have simply coasted and just made something nostalgia bait, in akin to the TV show. And no, it does take its time, but it does give you a lot. As Doug, you said, I mean, you have to kind of pay attention. You can't just half-ass watch it. But for me, like a lot of the things that I loved were just some of and I don't know if once again if I'm getting ahead of myself, forgive me if I am, but like just a lot of the character actors that make up this film. John Ortiz is somebody that I really love him in Silver Linings Playbook as he's perfect in that. And then, also I really love the actor Barry Shabaka Henley.
Shabaka Henley,
That guy is
yes.
awesome. Every
Yeah.
time he's in something.
and he's in Ali, and he's also
Yes.
in Collateral.
Collateral, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely wanted to bring him up, and I'm glad you brought John Ortiz up because that's definitely something that we need to talk about because phenomenal villain. Uh,
Yes.
and like you said, like you liked him in Silver Linings Playbook, like like such a different performance,
Oh,
like
yes.
you know what I mean? Like that guy's like such a chameleon in a way, like.
Yeah.
And you've never seen him like you have in Miami Vice. Like he is fucking ruthless in Miami Vice,
Yeah,
and
it's kind of scary in a lot of
yeah,
ways.
he's he's fucking awesome. Like he's kind of because I've seen it so much now. He's one of my like focuses now where I just like kind of pay attention a little more to him because he's so fucking good in it. Because he's a disco guy.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's a line that I had written down. I'm in
Yeah.
the disco.
Yeah.
I'm a disco guy. Yeah. Oh my god. Sorry.
No,
Continue.
no.
He's
I mean,
he's
I want you to jump.
I'm a disco guy. When he meets Trudy. Yeah. Okay.
he's so good at playing this like weaselly middle management type of guy.
He's
On rewatch, and maybe it was evident on first watch or whatever number of watch you've watched it on. It plays so much more to me as he is like a it's not so much that he's I guess we're just like jumping around getting into whatever we get
that's
into,
what's
but
gonna happen.
yeah, okay, yeah. It plays so much more um not that he's like protecting the business, protecting, I gotta get it right, Archangel Montoya de Jesus and the business. um it really plays as like he's like a jealous lover in a way.
Yeah,
He's like voyeuristically watching them on the multiple cameras, and he never
right.
trusts Sonny. And what, maybe that's reasonable, but and then here, I'm okay, we're just going. What's the line at the end? He goes, after work, she and me go watch a movie and grab a bite. I mean, he's literally talking about a date. Like,
Yeah.
it's weird. Like, there's a weird
And then
uh
and then he talks about like I put, I chop, he cuts her into pieces or
right, and
whatever.
then
He's
he
like, put her leg somewhere, head somewhere else. He's like,
Mhm.
something about that. And it's just like, because he knows, because he sees them fall in love. I love that where the one thing, well, I've noticed this a while now, but when they have that first meeting with the main boss, is that whose name you just said, Styles, or was that
Yes,
Ortiz?
yes.
Yes.
Okay. So when they have that,
He's the guy that looks like Wayne Grow with a haircut. Has
right,
anybody
right,
noticed that?
yeah, kind
He
of.
actually resembles Wayne Grow, but with like short hair and a small beard. It's actually kind of funny.
That's actually true, yeah. But yeah, when they have that first meeting in the back of that SUV, and then Gong Li or Isabella, whatever, switches places, so she's like out the window, and then
Mhm,
her and Colin, her and Sonny just have
mhm,
this longing look, and that's the
mhm.
first one right there. It's just like boom, like those two are into each other. And it starts there, and it is, man, like that romance in this movie is so beautiful. And like what Matt said, like when he walked out the first time when he saw it, it's because of that. And so they have that, and then the next kind of meeting they have is when she like sets whatever, and then she just like walks away, and then Sonny goes and chases her, and that's when we get on the go fast boat and go get mojitos, like just that scene too. And that's like kind of what you're talking about. Yeah, it rules. And that's what you were talking about, Styles, is John Ortiz, he's like him and Jamie Foxx are still talking business, and he's just watching them take off on the boat. He's like, "What the fuck's going on here?" And then also, like you said, he's the one that breaks the news to the big boss, and he's like, "Here you go." He's like, "Look at this," and he like shows them dancing and making out, and he's like, "It's not just casual. Like those two are in
Dude,
fucking love."
okay, okay, we're just all over the place. It's cool, but just since you're bringing up the scenes, I have like stuff I wanted to say. But that scene when he goes, like you said, it doesn't look just casual. That is the last time. And by the way, I think I got the name wrong. Archangel de Jesus Montoya, I
Nice.
believe, is exactly his name. Sorry,
Thank God
whatever.
somebody's doing notes on this show. First time.
But that scene, or it's actually a single shot, and it really stuck with me this time. Jose Hierro shows him the video of them dancing, and it cuts to a little, I don't know, I remember those little tiny Sony like DVD portable players or
Yeah.
whatever with a screen on them. And it's even dancing in like the weird Michael Mann like slow-mo smeary. I'm like, how do they slow this down? Whatever. But the final shot of Archangel is just like this soft shot of behind. You don't even see his face. It
Yeah.
just holds on the back of his shoulders, and like a sound like rises like David Lynch style, and then he's out of the movie. It's bonkers, man. It's just like, this is done. This person, it's like he smells the heat coming around the corner. He gets out in 30 seconds. That's Archangel. Like it's a any other director, writer, etc. would have some. He's smashing stuff off his desk. He's upset. He kills
Yeah.
somebody. He does. He lashes out, and it's just the shot of the back of a guy's shoulders, and
And
you
you
just understand everything that this guy is like thinking and about to do. It's
yeah.
wild.
I was gonna say, yeah, you can feel him brooding from the back of that
Y-
shot.
yes, yes,
It's
yes.
really awesome. And then yeah, and then the next thing is just like, Isabella is Ortiz's now, and that's the way he takes it. And like she's such a badass in the movie, like she's running shit, and then it really just kind of shows you, of course, the misogynistic like side of this movie where all of a sudden now she's just being used and thrown around. And that's kind of like even the relationship she has with the Archangel. Like she's already like in love with Sonny, and then the way like he grabs her that one night to like make love to her, and then that's when it cuts to the Audio Slave song at the end of their about to be sex scene, and then it cuts to like her and Colin meeting up since the mojito boat ride, where he asked her if she loves the Allman Brothers the next morning.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're hitting
That
on
was
my notes,
great.
dude.
but but when they meet up that next time, man, that heat and that passion in the back of that whatever SUV,
Mhm.
limousine with audio slaves wide awake playing. But yeah, anyway, sorry, my point though was just like how she kind of just like, even though it's just like she seems like such a boss, then she gets thrown into like, it's the man's world, and like how she gets treated from these pieces of shit. That kind of actually hit me a little more than ever just rewatching again on the 20th. Like, they just like chew her up and spit her out like she's nothing, where like she's actually everything. Like she's the money man, really. I mean, she's the money person. Like she's like really making everything happen. And then it just feels like they, like the way that they prey on her is horrible. Thank God there's Sunny.
Right. One thing that I was thinking about when I just rewatched it, it just speaks to the character and the Sunny Isabella relationship, is how like you have that whole like last like gun battle sequence at the end of the film where all these people's heads are getting exploded, all this stuff. But somehow the only real like viscerally upsetting moment in that entire thing is when the music kicks in and like she realizes his betrayal and she's hitting him, and it's just like shattering. Like all the like violence up to that point is kind of mechanical because it's just these guys kind of like
Yeah,
doing business in a way. But then
yeah,
that moment is just like this like grand, like emotionally violent heartbreak.
yeah, and it is, man. But when she
Yeah, I
when she
sorry.
notices,
Go ahead, Doug. Go ahead,
no,
Doug.
I'm just saying, yeah, when she notices that, and the action scene is still great with that going on, because Sonny then also realizes they're about to get shot at, and he pulls that great move where he just hits the ground, and then he shoots the ground, hits the guy's foot, and then locks in and blows his fucking brains out. And then we're still dealing with drama.
Yeah, no, the moment that Matt just described and you're talking about, to me is almost like that's what the movie is about. What does she say? She doesn't say you bastard or blah blah blah. She see first of all, he pulls out the shield because the backups are coming in, so he needs to be identified as like, don't, I'm not, I'm not with Yarrow and everything.
Mhm.
So he gives himself away in a sense,
Right.
but she doesn't like call him a name or whatever. She says, "Who are you? Who
Right.
are you?" And she repeats it and she screams it the second time. And this goes back to what I was talking about it sort of being this like existential thing because okay, now we're going granular, guys. We're going deep here. We are going deep. Okay, let's talk. So, okay, this is perfect. Let's talk about Sunny. She screams, "Who are you? Who are you?" She suddenly sees like a stranger in this person who perhaps naively or just passionately maybe thought there was a future. Although in that Allman Brothers scene, they go, "This is beyond a bad plan with no future, so there's nothing to worry about," or something like that. But anyways,
Yeah,
who is Sonny Crockett? He is a husk of a man. He. In fact, I found it watching it this the last time. I was like, you never see where he lives. He doesn't live anywhere. He's floating around. He has no uh, the and the other thing is that like in that moment, see again, we're kind of saying like we wish maybe like Sonny and Isabella could have gotten together or whatever. I don't. I actually don't think Mann is saying like there was ever a
Yeah.
possibility of that happening. And in that moment, so, okay, now we're going crazy. Okay, Mann is obsessed with dreams. Mann is obsessed with dreams. Manhunter, thief. Frank has the life board, his dream of the thing. Um, Manhunter is like dream much will, whatever Lecter asks him. Um, and Neil in Heat, he's dream. What do you call a regular life? The dream. What the fuck is that? Barbecues and ballparks or whatever he says.
yeah,
This film is interesting in my opinion because I think it's actually Isabella who is having the dream. That's why that moment is so shattering because, man, it she no longer it's like I've been more or less in love with this person who is now just a stranger. It's
Mhm.
just
You're right.
I don't know. Yeah, I could just
No,
keep
and
rambling, but
so before that, when they again go to Havana and have their night out and dance, the next day they're like in the shower together, and it's really cutesy, and she's being real sweet with him in the shower, and then like literally he hugs her, and there's like he makes this face like he's like holy shit, he's like what I mean like he's like what am I gonna do? Because right then and there, I think even just like his reaction is like we are into each other, and like we like and he knows like she's gonna have to find out probably one day who I really am because this isn't just tonight for them. It was
I,
not that was not just that. It is like we this is something. Like you're saying, like maybe there's no future and the whole big line, time is luck. And he goes, luck ran out at the end, and it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And same thing. Same thing is said in Heat. He uses that line in Heat, time is luck. Um, and that's the parallel that I wanted to bring up too of Heat and this movie is the Neil and who he's with in that movie is very much this was like the continuation of that De Niro's relationship in Heat and then kind of what happens with Colin and Isabella in this Colin and Gong. But yeah, the scene in the shower, everything that you were just kind of talking about, Styles, like Colin makes this face when he hugs her where she can't see his face and he's just like fuck, like he knows, just like when Jamie Foxx, like when, he asks him and he's like, I know what I'm doing, like, it's like that in too deep thing. Like right then and there, he knows like, okay, we've crossed this line now. We've
well,
crossed it.
what he says when Rico asks him, he says we're making moves on each other. It's it's kind of a it's so man steeps it so much in like the business and like the professionalism that like at times you don't uh again to like where he writes like 3 words and it's supposed to communicate like all of this stuff. There are times where it's like are what they talking is what they're talking about right now all business or is like their love or their passion or whatever like infused with like what they're talking about. Yeah. Oh man. By the way, in that shower scene, he also says we guarantee loads. So, uh,
Can,
had to
can I
throw
ask
that in
one
there.
real quick question? Just as you three being the vice heads or man heads, more more than myself maybe. But like, why are there like almost seemingly like so few scenes between Tubbs and Crockett in this movie? Did they? I wonder, like, was it a contentious shoot? Like, did they not really like each other, or is it just,
No,
because
I
there's not a
I
lot of screen time with them,
I
honestly.
would say that was his plan. And I think that even goes back to when I was comparing it to Bad Boys because like again, this is the realistic thing. Like they're not actually like friends, but they're partners and they respect the hell out of each other and they, and like he and like when Jamie Foxx even or Rico looks at him in the eyes and he's like, I would never doubt you. Like that right there shows you that there is they might not be best friends and hang out all the time, even though they are actually together all the time. But then like I brought up, like the when they get into this new case he splits off with Gong Li, and then like Jamie's kind of more stuck with Ortiz, and then like that's the dynamic of this case.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
I
I don't.
also,
I go ahead, man.
sorry, I was gonna say, speaking again of Sonny and Isabella, I feel like that works well to put that into sharper relief because it's like in the entire film, Isabella's seemingly, from what we know, Sonny like the only meaningful relationship he's ever had, maybe
Mm.
like his relationship with like obviously someone like Ortiz but even with like his like coworkers, like it's always like distance and kind of like flat. Like he doesn't have a meaningful relationship with any of the other cops either, even beyond like even less. He's like not the
There's
fuck. Sorry, go ahead.
no, yeah, sorry, I'm trying to not cut anybody off. There's a shot when Sonny and Isabella are dancing in the club, like later in the movie, when the whole team is there, there's a shot of Trudy looking at him, smiling, and I made a note. I was like, I think this is the first time Trudy has ever seen like life in Sonny, like,
Right.
or any like glimmer of happiness at all. It's very subtle, like a lot of Mann does a thing in this movie too where it's like, so Alonzo, he steps in front of the truck, and then I'm not exaggerating. There are like, it's less than a second. It's like 8 frames, 10 frames of like that blood streak
Yeah, it's
under the.
insane.
It's such an insane shot and edit, but it's because Mann isn't holding your hand through like any of this. Kind of what you were talking about earlier, Doug. Uh, I think Doug was saying. um,
Yeah.
yeah, you have to keep up with what he's doing. He's not, it's like you get it and then you move on, and it's almost like your brain fills in like more of that scene as we're already on to like the next scene.
Hmm.
Um,
Yep.
and so yeah, I think despite
I,
him being like the protagonist, Sonny is like a very sad man. And I mean
yeah,
that's
and I
like
think
an
it.
understatement. And so like that's why when this and again, despite him being the protagonist, the very ending where like we want kind of a happy ending. I mean, what he does to Isabella is like a little bit fucked up. Like, I mean, he's
It's
lied
really
to her
fucked
this
up.
entire time. It's like it's it's in despite feeling real feelings, it's all ultimately been in like this dedication to a job. It's
Yeah.
yeah, it's heartbreaking in like multiple ways. I think.
Yeah.
Oh, and like
Well, and it
that,
go ahead, Matt.
just that last shot, like he looks so like sad and pitiful, like his shoulders are slunched, like just slinking into that hospital.
Yeah.
I think it's not just that. We got to save the last shot. I have some ideas. uh, I don't think it's just that he's sad that like this relationship has ended. I think that look is that was the only relationship.
Well, yeah,
That's not
Right.
ever gonna
Yeah.
happen.
yeah.
Right. And
Again,
that goes back to what you said, Styles, is like, or what she actually says in the movie is, "Who are you?" And
who is he?
yeah, and I think like he finally was getting, like you're saying, he was getting that life. Because even in the opening scene, when again, like you got to pay attention to what's going on, but he does take that little break and go to the bar and he starts hitting on the girl. And he's that, Sonny, he's the ladies' man. And like
Mhm.
that's just kind of his life because he's just, he's always on the go, he's always on undercover, he's always on some case. But then he just kind of has time maybe to, sleep with someone or like pick up somebody, pick up a bartender. But the Isabella thing is, it's real, like at least that. And then like what you said, it is fucked up. I mean, he changes her whole life, but I mean, she doesn't know that she's gets involved with an undercover cop. But he fucks up her whole life. Uh, Also her life at that point too, like I mean, like Ortiz is just gonna like pretty much just chop her up. Like once that deal is done at the end, like she's dead. Like
Mhm.
there's no doubt, like she's over. So yeah, it sucks. Like he literally uproots her whole life, but not the greatest life in the, I mean, like all those people could probably, they could be something else, but they just fell into what they're doing and they're really good at what they're doing. But yeah, and then he just has to send her off. And it's like like whatever like bye, like good luck. And then like at that point too, it's like they're not even like they're not gonna find each other. I mean, in real life, it's been 20 years since the movie. I hope and feel that they've met up again.
No.
No, I
No.
don't think so. Sorry, because and not just because of some logistics or practical thing. I mean, I think notice she can't even look at him when even when he is driving her to the safe house at the very end. She can't look at him. She's staring out the window. There's no communication. What is this place? He goes, a man named Frank will be on a boat. By the way, we see Frank. It's a again, a very strange Michael Mann, not strange, but unique. When the boat is pulling away, she's staring towards Sunny on the shore, and you just see this guy like move in the
Yeah.
background, like out of frame for 2 seconds. And I guess that's Frank. It's like that type of detail stuff. That's how it is because he's putting you in her mindset, and there is a guy, but he doesn't need a line of dialogue. He doesn't need a close up. He's just in like the world, and
They do have a final moment though in that last scene though.
they do.
Hi Keaton.
Yeah.
But you know, the time is luck ran out. She does like fall
Yeah.
back into his arms and they kind of
Yeah, he's like
Yeah.
curling.
No, yeah, yeah.
and,
Uh,
what else you got in them notes, Styles?
well, um, well, there's two avenues I suppose we could go down. I would love to talk. How about this? I'm just gonna throw this. This is completely random. In that first shootout, when they find out the FBI informant and they get, hey, hey, whatever, how long you been working with the FBI? And they blow the car apart, and the dude's arm comes off
Yeah.
of his body in slow motion, and then there's a little tiny glow in the corner of the seat where like a bullet hits it, and there's a glow with the sound. Just totally insane. It reminded me of that shot in John Woo's The Killer, where Chow rolls up and blows the guy's arm off, and it was actually like a mistake, but it's like the coolest thing ever. So it's in the movie. Just wanted to highlight that shot.
Oh yeah. Well, as we all know, we've seen the movies and obviously Heat, but all of them. Public Enemies has an insane great shootout in the woods.
Oh my
But you know,
God.
I mean, Michael Mann is one of, if not the like king of action, man, for real. Like unbelievable. All of his action sequences are you've never seen anything greater. You've never heard anything greater. And I have actual personal information because my father-in-law did work on Heat. And he knew the guy who did the sound and he hated that Mann wanted to use the actual rounds
Right.
and he was like this is a bad idea and then look where we are now like that is like the standard now like you like to use the actual sound of the gunshots.
I wanted to bring one thing around to what Mike asked because you asked about Sonny and Rico's screen time together, and I think for the most part, it was Mann's way of doing this, but there's some behind the scenes shit
Yeah.
about this movie. I know some of it, I can lay some of it out, but like and I'm not I'm trying to just be as charitable as possible to everybody. I believe Michael Mann is a demanding director. That's one thing I'll just say. Mr. Mann, if you see this, you're a genius. I love you, but and there was allegedly some kind of weird stuff with Jamie where he allegedly like asked for more money.
All right.
Colin was like, yeah, whatever, like came out of his fee. Um, linking back to Mann being a demanding director. I'm not exactly sure which exact scene it was. I think it's when they're going to meet Yarrow the first time and they're walking through either Haiti or Colombia, and you see like the kid on the rooftop, and it's that Michael Mann demanded to shoot in like actual like gang cartel regions. Again, this is I don't know the exact details, and apparently one day a real gun went off on or near the set. Um, allegedly they were paying uh like gang or cartel members to like protect them in the area while they were shooting. And when this gun went off, Jamie Foxx walked off the set. And again, this is documented. I don't have any firsthand, accounts of this, but and the other thing too is that they were facing these. There was like a hurricane or monsoon warning danger in the areas they were shooting, because they were shooting, like I said, in like Haiti, Colombia, and Miami, obviously. And apparently the original ending was supposed to be some big shootout. I haven't read like the original script or whatever. I've just heard it described in Colombia or something. But because of tensions, that was rewritten to be the shipyard ending. Which, watching the movie, it's like how else could you end this movie? Like, this has to be the, I don't know. But all of that to say is that there were tensions behind the scenes, and at some point one of the actors kind of disappeared. And so a little bit of why their screen time might not be as constant is there were, problems, in the making of. So,
and Colin
It
Farrell
should,
says he doesn't
yeah,
remember
oh,
making
right, of
making
course,
it at all.
of course,
because
yeah,
he was drinking then.
of course,
Yeah,
yes,
and like doing drugs, which is definitely interesting to keep in mind when you watch him giving the performance.
of
He's
course,
kind of
yeah. I
like
didn't.
going extreme method to just numb himself completely.
Oh, that's a perfect segue. Yeah. By the way, sorry, I didn't mean to like minimize it to one actor or one person at all, or whatever. Yes, Colin
Well,
Farrell.
that they're all fucked up.
Yeah, but Colin Farrell allegedly checked into rehab the day the movie
Yeah.
wrapped, or whatever the story is. And when he's been asked about the film in contemporary interviews, he's like, "I'm really sorry. I can't tell you that much because I kind of don't remember making the movie." It's like kind of crazy. So
Which is insane because his performance is so good.
Yeah, he's great.
his
But
performance as a psycho husk of a man is, he didn't even know the cameras were on.
right.
Exactly.
um
And that's crazy that you said that about Jamie too, because this is his third film, right? Third film
it
with Michael
Man,
Bay.
yeah.
Because
it
he's in
it
Ali and
is
then Collateral
Yeah,
and
the
then this.
collateral.
it is what I've heard or gleaned is that, and again, allegedly, all he's a great actor, that there was some kind of shift after he won the Oscar for Ray.
Yeah.
So he wanted,
He wanted to be
allegedly,
in movies like Stealth.
well, no, well, he wanted, again, allegedly, he wanted like his name first on the poster. He wanted like in the poster where it's the two faces, he wanted his face in front. Allegedly.
Well, he got it.
He got it. I would love to, by the way, I just going back to Mike's comment, I just on my notes, I just literally wrote Shabaka Henley, master actor, Collateral. Just going
Yeah.
back to going back to the Shabaka, just because I brought it up. At the very end, he's on the walkie and he's like, can't find the second shooter. Can't find the second shooter. And then he finds him. Dude, when it gets super close on him, he goes, I get chills. It is absolutely incredible.
He's amazing, man.
That
He's such
guy's
a great
face. I
actor.
bet Mann is a great face caster. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All of his actors, even if they're like, I mean, even De Niro, but like, I mean, Shabaka Henley has a
Yeah.
face,
Nope.
and
Best face in the biz.
I'm sure. Look, I'm sure. Not that many people tell Michael Mann what to do anymore, and for a long time, but
Ever.
probably ever. But I would bet that he has been in meetings or conversations or whatever where they're like, if you cast this person,
Right.
we think the film could return $5 million more or whatever, some type of conversation like that, like a business discussion. And I'm sure Mann is just like, Look at his face. You know what I mean? I'm not, I'm casting the guy with like the good
Yeah.
face, the
Yeah,
face with
because I got to get
character.
that close up on there, and then I might have to get a dirty like OTS somewhere, and I need that.
Yeah.
I need that shape.
I was
Um, Go
I
ahead.
was thinking a lot about John Hawkes today when I watched that movie. I feel like no one really talks about him in this that much because he's only in it for like 7 minutes or something before he gets pancaked.
Yeah,
Um,
if that. No, that's an
but
incredible
but he's
performance.
yeah, he's incredible. And it's another great thing to what you were saying because it's like because it's such a small role, you cast him for his essence, for like his physicality and his face. When you need this like kind of desperate looking informer guy, it's just like John Hawk's essence.
Yeah.
And it like he's great. Like,
Yeah, and
man,
especially since you know, like us, we've seen the film a lot. That picture that he shows them of his girlfriend, like
yeah,
she has the thing around her neck, and it's just like now that you've seen the movie and you've let it, you know what I mean? Like it just means so much more every time you kind of rewatch it now, because like, and eventually where this story's going with Trudy. Um,
I
yeah.
lit fucking I literally wrote down the exact same thing, Doug. Dude, you're a detail master. I love it. I wrote down Loretta has that exact same thing. You see the picture for like 2 seconds.
I
Two
know.
seconds. And then you realize later in the movie, Rico is essentially Alonzo at the beginning of the movie. He's just got to get home, but he's got to save Trudy from the white supremacist gang, and it's just
Right.
Ooh, that scene, dude.
okay. Yeah,
That
let's
scene,
jump to
dude.
that scene because the segment that I wanted to jump into was the crew, meaning the rest of like their
Yeah,
crew,
yeah.
and I also have a quotes section, but I'm just gonna say this. I'm gonna recite this as it's said in the film. The arguably besides the "Who are you" scene, this is like shivers. Gina, Gina, they're in the trailer. She's got the gun on the Nazi. He's about to blow. She goes, "That's not what happens. What will happen is blinks. What will happen is I will put a round at 2,700 feet per second into the medulla at the base of your brain, and you will be dead from the neck down before your body knows it. Your finger won't even twitch. Only you get dead. So tell me, sport, do you believe that?" Hey, it is
Yeah.
the hardest line of dialogue,
She
lines of
and
dialogue.
she and it's almost like she probably like did that on purpose for him to react. As soon as he reacts and like takes his breath or whatever he does or whatever he says, that's like her moment right there. Like, okay, like got him to like not think, what he's doing for a second, and then boom, dude.
The shot itself is also really interesting. It's uncut. It starts on her eye. Like I said, and I have a tangent I want to talk about people repeating words, but we'll get to that maybe in 6 hours. I'm
Yeah,
seeing here.
I think we're
Um,
definitely over an hour now,
yeah.
which sucks for me.
Um, it starts on her eye. She says, "That's not what happens. What will happen is," blinks. "What will happen is," and as she's talking, the camera moves down. So it's just her mouth with the gun. And it's like the gun is like coming out of her mouth into the camera. It is so crazy. Also, she uses that term sport. It's just you and me now, sport. Manhunter. Man
Yep.
uses these weird, not weird. Again, I use that word too liberally. I don't mean it weird, but he uses these little like nicknames. And it's
Does he
just
do that
interesting.
in Thief too? Or does he say something else in Thief?
He, uh, I don't know.
Okay.
He probably he, since we're talking about words that call back, Henley calls Kieran Hines slick, which is in Heat.
Yeah.
Hey Slick, don't try to shine me. Hey Slick, don't try to shine me one. You don't have the time of skill. What an insane line to just rattle off, man. Oh, he's awesome. He's so awesome. Anyway, so Gina rules. She also has a line earlier. Um,
Yeah, there's so many
Can't
small.
can't, can't do the time. Don't mess with crime. Awesome.
Yeah. And Mike brought this up. Lingo then brought it up again with Hawks and obviously Shabaka there. But then also as you're going through the team, like Dominic Lombard, how do you say his last name? You know, he's in The
Oh,
Wire. He's
yeah,
in
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
Dominic Lombardo or something, Lombarzi.
I think he has
Shit.
one line in the film,
yeah,
But
Justin
maybe.
Theroux.
he's always such a presence. And then wait, what'd you just say, Lingo?
Theroux, or
Oh
Theroux,
yeah, and
Justin
Oh
Justin
yeah,
Theroux,
Theroux is
yeah.
in the movie too, which is insane. And then
Eddie Marsan.
who they're dealing with at the beginning. How do you say that guy's name? Isaac.
Yeah, Isaac de Bancole.
Yes, Isaac de Bonkale. That guy, I
Oh,
love him.
yeah,
Jarmusch, Limits of Control, Ghost
Oh yeah.
Dog.
yeah.
That guy's incredible, dude.
I always forget he's in this movie every time I watch it, and I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, they're dealing with him at the beginning. But yeah, just all these amazing, whatever, man. It's like and then again, it's like right now when Christopher Nolan asks you to be in a movie, it's the same thing. When any of these
Right.
guys with that stature, like ask you to be in a movie, you know, if Michael Mann's calling you up or PTA or Quentin, whatever, man, like even Jarmusch, you know, anybody in Lynch, you know, God rest his soul, any of these types of people call you up, it's yes, it's fucking yes,
Can we jump back to Justin Theroux for a second?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I would like to submit a C. Montgomery Burns style wager where if anyone without put your hands up so you're not Googling, what is his character's name in this film?
Oh fuck, I don't
I
fucking
already
know.
have I already have the letterbox open over here, but my phone is
Okay.
off. I can't see it. I don't know. I don't know the answer.
Okay, so
Steve.
Justin.
Yeah, it's Justin.
okay. Justin
Justin
Theroux's
Trudeau. No. Wait.
so I'll say his full name after, but as he is referenced in the film, his name is Zito. Zito. They say it once, I think, over like walkie-talkies or whatever, when they're on the boats or whatever. Full name Larry Zito.
Oh,
Z-I-T.
Larry.
Okay.
And so, but I just wanted to say one other thing about Thoreau, because he's actually in like the background of a lot of scenes, but
Right.
again, he has like two lines of dialogue. When they're in the penthouse of the guy who's going to lead them to Yarrow, he's like, "Yeah, and we can watch TV on his 65-inch screen or whatever." But this is like extra textual stuff. So apparently in 2006 and more probably 2005, 2004, Justin Theroux was just kind of like, "Hey, I'm going to be like a dang ass freak mode dude, and I'm going to be in the two craziest digital films
Huh,
of
right.
2006 because Justin Theroux is also in David Lynch's Inland Empire."
Hmm.
Here's another weird little, okay, maybe that wasn't that impressive, but
No,
the
and well,
second little detail about that's really weird. Again, I gotta stop saying that, but David Lynch's Inland Empire, very, very minor spoiler if you haven't seen it. It's just about a sound cue. Nina Simone's Sinnerman plays at the end of Inland Empire. When they're in the club in the opening scene of Miami Vice,
Oh
after
yeah.
the Jay-Z Linkin Park Numb plays, a remix of Sinnerman plays as the second
Right.
track in the film. What a bizarre, what is that? A synchronicity? I mean, what is like,
yeah, that is
That's
crazy.
weird.
Well,
Hmm.
when you brought it up, earlier too, that man talks about dreams, I literally was gonna go like David Lynch.
I think they operate in very different styles, but I actually think on some level
Pretty similar.
there's
Also,
there's some really weird linkage. Man, I had
yeah.
the artist name of the
And
remix, but
Justin's
whatever.
also in Mulholland Drive too.
Yeah.
Yes, he is. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
Yeah.
that's yeah, like that is funny. Like, you know, he helps write Zoolander, you know, known for kind of like comedy in a way. Well, I don't
yeah.
know.
These were before Zoolander. That's that
Yeah.
I looked
He
it up. That
wrote
was like
Zoolander 2.
Yeah. Well, I
Did
mean,
he
he's in the
also
first
write
one.
Tropic
Right.
Thunder or co-write Tropic Thunder?
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
also Tropic.
And
Yeah.
one of the Iron Man movies. Really,
Yeah.
really interesting
He helped write
career.
one of the Iron Man movies.
Yeah, Iron Man 2. I
Holy
don't know
shit!
why I know that.
I don't, I don't
Not
think.
even a good movie. Just I can't
Yeah.
even like remember my phone number half the time, but I remember that Justin Theroux had a co-writing credit on Iron Man 2.
Yeah. Well, you just blew my mind.
Now, I do have a question. Doug, you kind of alluded at the beginning there. What are the major differences with the director's cut? Because obviously I've never seen the director's
The
cut.
Right,
the only one that I would actually know offhand, without looking it up, is the opening. And
right.
so this is what I've had for so
Yeah, I have
long.
that. Yeah.
But just the other day, I did finally buy this baby, which is the theatrical.
Miami Vice in the Kingdom.
I know, I know. I might watch The Kingdom at some point. But I've had so until we went to that 2020 screening at Alamo, I had only seen this cut since
Really?
since the first
Oh,
since the
okay.
first time,
Right.
in 2006. But owning this like immediately when this came out, I had only seen this, and I kind of love the opening of this because I just like them on the boats. But all that scene does is it literally sets up what the club scene is, and clearly
Yeah.
the better opening is, like I said,
Right in.
exactly,
Yeah.
straight in, so you don't take your eyes off. Like, so once you do, you've missed details, and like clearly that's the better way. Um, Other than that, there's probably some little stuff here and there. It's
The
insane, man, with
It's
his director's
so
cuts, like because it
I,
it ends up just being like frames and slices and little things that you would just
well,
really never notice in a way. But you notice this because it literally opens on the water. It's like a big like
right.
racing boat scene, and instead of just like dun 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 dun,
It's
there is. Were you gonna jump on
oh,
that, Matt?
yeah, I was just gonna say really quick. Sorry. It's so weird because this quote unquote director's cut, it feels like the actual theatrical cut that they release is the kind of thing that the studio would be like freaking out about and being like, no, you need to have a scene where you explain why they're in the club and do all this stuff. And yet that is what the movie was that everybody saw. And I guess Michael Mann decided that it was better that way.
Yeah, I don't know.
So there's one other major. I have not seen the director's cut all the way through. I've watched
Hmm.
scenes, and so I'm sure there's a couple tiny like extra things like Matt was just saying because Mann is obsessed with shaving 12 frames off of a shot that is perfectly fine, but whatever. All power to him. He can do whatever he wants. It's his work. But the other major change is that during the shipyard shootout at the end, as they're driving in and as the scene builds, it's playing the "In
Right,
the Air Tonight" new metal cover that I believe ends the film. Like when it cuts to credits,
right, yeah.
playing in the theatrical cut, that track is now ported over to just play over most of that scene. And I've watched that scene. I
You're right. Yeah,
for
yeah.
for a film. So this is like a much broader thing about. I've even heard Mann say something about what he calls his style, and it's something about like hyper reality or something because his films are ultra stylized, but they're very down to earth and like and it's
Right.
a little bit of a weird hard thing to describe, I guess. But when he plays music over that scene, especially once we've all seen it, it feels phony. It feels like a movie
Sure.
instead of
Right.
being grounded and like we're about to see a person's life devastated. You know what I mean? It's and I'm not against music. I'm not against, music affecting your emotions or whatever. I'm just saying in this particular scenario, it fe it I just don't connect to it. And I think playing it without music until
Yeah.
the who are you, and then they
Yeah.
decide that, like, bing, rising, droning kind of thing. Now we're in an atmosphere. Now we're in a consciousness. We're in her perspective. It just plays so much better for me. I'm unaware of any other like major
Yeah,
cuts,
no,
but
that is major. I mean, like, and I had forgotten because since we saw it in 2020, now I have only watched the theatrical cut since.
Right. Yeah.
Because it's either like if I watch it streaming, or I remember like I caught it on cable so much that I thought, like, from the 2020 thing, like I don't think I technically fully watched it for like almost a year or two. And but like I kept seeing it because we still had cable, so it was on HBO or Showtime, where I would just like watch it on TV. So it just felt like I had watched it for the consecutive years. Thankfully to Letterbox, I know that like when I watched it, but I was like, oh my God, there was like a 2-3 year gap from the 2020 thing, and just seems like I almost watch that movie every day, like 6-7 times in those like in that just like 2 year gap or whatever. But yeah, now that you brought that up, I'm like, holy shit, like wow, yeah, that was in the ending on this theatrical cut that I was used to for so long. Um, and one more thing before we get out of here that I do want to say about the ending is just how satisfying and how amazing it is how John Ortiz gets blown away in this movie.
yeah,
Like it
and
is like what is
Yeah.
it? Like a grenade round? Unbelievable.
I think it's just a shotgun. But watching it again, it reminded me, spoilers for the film Thief, 40 plus year old film. It reminded me of Belushi in Thief. Kind of a like
Yeah,
callback
yeah.
because there's such a gigantic blood splatter behind him, you know.
Yeah, dude, it's pretty incredible. I mean, that's like such a big action movie moment. Like he even does like a roll. It's almost like a Lethal Weapon like moment or something. And like, but it rules. It fucking rules. Again, king of action.
Um, well, okay. I feel we would be remiss to get out of here without even mentioning
Uh-oh.
"I'm a fiend for mojitos" line.
Yeah.
He hasn't even been mentioned at all, and
Well, I
um,
brought up that they go and do the mojito thing, but yeah, I didn't.
okay,
Yeah, I mean,
but
such
that's
a huge.
specific. Okay, let me just ramble for like 2 minutes, and then we can let's figure it out. I think that film that's that I think that line is actually more significant than it just being funny or being weird or telling. First of all, if someone's like, "What do you like to drink?" and anybody said they are a fiend for anything Baja Blast, like, you'd be like, what a psycho. Why would you use the word fiend? That's the first thing. But I really watched it. And I think there's like an interesting like cinematic a visual storytelling thing, because so Doug, like, earlier you mentioned they see each other as she's driving away, they make eyes, right? This is the first time they're actually talking to each other outside of, they say one or two things maybe in that business meeting.
Mhm.
Uh how fast does that boat go? Very fast. Like, all of these lines, and this is a little bit of a thing about getting, or me beginning to understand, like, Michael Mann, like the way that they're, first of all, he addresses, so they walk out of the meeting. He follows. I think when he says "ma'am," and I think her realizing him following her at all is like, oh, something's up. But again, the man dialogue, they're being surveilled. They're business partners at this point. They need to keep it all cool, you know? They talk about the boat. I mean, that is like Michael Mann's version of flirting. How fast does that boat go? Very fast. Like me. You know what I mean? And then this is what really caught me this time is that, so sorry, I know my hands keep going out of it. She's at a distance. They talk about the boat. She turns back. She says, "What do you like to drink?" He says this insane line, "I'm a fiend for mojitos." and that's when she moves towards him. She moves towards him. That's the whole, and it's again, I think this is like Michael Mann's like weird, again, weird conception of like dating, sort of like you're
Yeah.
speaking almost in this like code language. Um,
Yeah.
and
Um,
then there's the motif through all of Mann's films of like the guy looking out the window at the water, right? Contemplating something. Sonny even does it earlier in this film, very briefly. But to my recollection, this is the first time in any of his films where one of those characters who has stared out at the water has actually gotten in the water. And it's this total. I know Pacino is like in the waves in the inside or like a little bit or whatever, but like it cuts to this
Mm.
shot. It's I have no, well, they just did it, I guess, but it's the boat. All it is water. It goes up and there's nothing. There's just a horizon. It's just sky, water, and them. And that to I think Michael Mann is like, this is freedom. This is
Yeah.
total the
yeah.
moment of like freedom that maybe both of these people will ever have in their lives, and
Yeah.
all it is water and sky. It's
Yeah.
so incredible,
Yeah,
man.
it looks amazing. And the way it just kind of what you were alluding to, like she comes to him, which is like such a great moment. But then also the way he like straps on her seatbelt, there's something like
Mm-hmm.
really sexy about that. And
Absolutely.
I'm glad you brought this back up because it I didn't say it earlier and I meant to when that screening that we went to at the Egyptian, he brought up that the Crockett and Isabella love story was a real DEA agent he knew. It was the
Mm-hmm.
driving force on why he wanted to make this film. Like a
Mm.
real DEA agent who was undercover, who actually he actually had a family, I think I remember him saying. He ended up falling in love with someone and had this relationship. And so however long he's been carrying that with him, that was like his driving force to make this Miami Vice movie.
One small thing just about that scene on the boat that I love that I was thinking about today. Just this little piece of verisimilitude when they're having that conversation, at least in the at the very first part, Michael Mann is like shooting them through the windows, little like the shields on the Go Fast boat. And I
Mhm.
love that like you see all this like glare and all these smudges and like little like specks. Like it's like a real like boat that's like it's not like it's like
Yeah,
the kind of thing that almost always gets like cleaned up or airbrushed in like any other more like studio film. And
right.
here it's just this like great piece of texture.
Yeah, that's man, baby.
Um,
He's the best.
two, two,
One
two,
of the
just
best.
two notes on musical cues.
Audio slave, right?
Actually, yes, but uh, so the first one is we've talked a lot about how Sonny, like, who is he? He's this husk of a man. I don't think it's a coincidence at all that the very first song in the film is "I've become so numb." It's talking about Sonny. It's talking about like kind of all these guys, except that like Rico has been able to find like this like work family balance, which he's been searching for, man, in like all of his other films. I mean, that's a direct thing out of Heat too, you know. Even the other criminals kind of have families, and there's this push pull of what a real life is and all that kind of stuff.
Right. And that's
But
like that scene in Heat where, De Niro's looking around and everybody's got their girls and family with them. And then he goes and makes that call to go meet up with her.
exactly, exactly. But again, it's like to link it back into who are you? Da, 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 da. The work. That's another thing that's important about the opening of a theatrical thing. It's like it cracks in, and then getting this call from Alonzo, and then seeing a guy kill himself in front of you within the span of like an hour. It's like these are these people's lives. These are like shattered people. Like they're incredible at their jobs, but they are like, Sonny is like dangling by a thread from like frame one, And I suppose maybe we should end with talking about the final frame. But the audio slave cue, I clocked this, and I don't think this is an accident either. When they first hook up, or when they go to Cuba, they dance. I dance. I know you love that line, Matt.
Yeah, I dance.
Then it plays the audio slave song, and I don't think it's a coincidence that these two lyrics pop out as they're in bed and rolling around. Quote from the audio slave song: "There's a crack in the clouds, but only for a moment now." That's thematically resonant for sure. And
Yeah.
then to the whole theme of Sonny and his team and Rico and like this sort of surrogate family they have, quote, "I hold my family to my breast." It's like all of these people are willing to die for like their partner in the team, It's just, again, I know it's just in the song, but I'm like, he used like that part of the song like for a reason. And also the thematics of them maybe thinking, could we ever have a family or like a relationship outside of this business thing that's like sucking the souls out of us? I think it's really relevant.
I think one thing that kind of tripped me out for a second, I think, was I feel like man, yeah, man got granted these Audio Slave songs early, by the way. I always thought it was from the second Audio Slave album. It's actually from the third one. And the third
Mm.
one came out in September 4th, 2006. And obviously the movie came out at the end of July. So
Hmm.
they, because he already had used them in Collateral.
Right.
So I think they were probably like, hell yeah, like here you go, here's two more. Because I mean, in both of those movies, those Audio Slave fucking drops are absolutely
Yeah.
incredible.
Fucking bang.
But, yeah.
Um, I have a little segment. I know we got to kind of wrap it up, but I
Yeah,
have a
we're
little.
definitely at a 90-minute mark at this point.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Let's see the clock. It says
Definitely over.
136.
Definitely
And
over.
then and that's crazy because like three people maybe watched the whole YouTube.
Hell yeah.
Well, that's what
Quite
I knew how
cool.
this episode was going to go. I was going to let you guys riff. I'm just going to be here. I'm here like the ringleader, the moderator.
I mean, we got to talk about the last shot.
The last
Yeah,
shot.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is just random. Here's a quote, and so I think it's interesting because it's one of the only lines of dialogue from Trudy. She doesn't have that many lines of dialogue. When they're in the apartment, the character's name is Nicholas. This is when Sonny looks out at the ocean, and Nicholas is the guy who hooks them up with Yarrow in the first quarter of the film or whatever.
Oh yeah, I wanted to bring him up too when we were talking about character actors. That guy's like
Mm.
Eddie Marsan, right? Or something.
Yeah,
I think
Eddie Marsan.
It could come
Marsan.
back on. It
He's
could come
really
back on
great.
me, baby.
Yeah, it can come back on me,
Right.
baby. You know, I love Eddie Marsan.
But
He's awesome.
but so in that scene, just the two lines. He's pushing back. He's like, "Oh, this could be bad business. It could come back on me." And Rico like claps his hand right next to his head and goes, "That's the sound of air rapidly filling the vacuum created by your departed body." So crazy, man. And then when he's pushing back, Trudy says, and you question. Well, she has a little bit more of a. It's not quite a monologue, but it's broken up by other lines of dialogue, and then she ends it with, "And you question Rico and Sonny? Fuck that! I will cap your skanky ass and throw it off that goddamn balcony." So awesome,
Yeah,
so
Trudy
awesome.
Trudy rules, man. She's great in this movie. What's her name? Naomi, right?
Amy
Mhm.
Harris.
Naomi Harris. Yeah, she's wonderful. So speaking of her, the last shot.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah.
I mean, you seem like you have something you really want to talk about there. I've said, and I've said this with you guys, even I think when we watched it, and definitely when we last watched it at the Egyptian lingo, like, like one love needs to be like let go, and one love like lives. That's kind of how I feel with that ending. Like, the pulse comes back and Rico's been
Yeah.
the whole time, and it's really fucking touching and really fucking beautiful. And the other beautiful part is you see, Sonny walking into the hospital to be there for his surrogate family, his partner
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
Trudy. It's a
I
beautiful, really beautiful ending.
I don't know though. Like I used to kind of feel that way, but I think every time I see it, it feels more kind of fatalistic and like a like world of no escape. Like Sonny's kind of walking into hell because this like life has clearly like emptied him out. Like the first time I saw it, I remember being moved because I thought it was like really noble. Like he's doing the right thing. He made this sacrifice. And every time I watch it again, it just feels bleaker and bleaker. And when we saw it at the Egyptian, I noticed this one detail that kind of just guts me every time I watch it, which is he's walking in, and then off to the right of the frame, there are these two nurses that are just like smoking. They're like on their break. And it's just this whole thing where this guy's walking by who just had like the defining loss of his entire life. And these two women are just smoking. And they have like no idea like what happened to this man who's just like walking in the hospital.
Mhm.
And it like gets me every time I've seen it since.
Damn.
Uh, yeah, I think you, yeah, I mean, Matt basically just took the words out of my mouth. It's the other thing too, just visually, you you see there's a the side of Sonny's profile is lit. Like you see his hair for like a second, but then he
Right.
just becomes silhouette, hunched over, kind of almost Daniel Plain viewing, like, he's like fucked up. And that what Matt just said is exactly what I wanted to point out is like these people, it kind of makes the movie like cosmic or like consciousness, like the whole world.
It's a
uh
cosmic gumbo styles.
as David Lynch said like the world spins, and it's like this idea that Sonny, it's, I almost can't put it better, but it's like these people who are just like on their smoke break, they're doing their routine, whatever life's going on, the world keeps spinning, and like this guy
Yeah.
whose entire world just evaporated is walking by them. They have no idea what issues the other. It's a very I, I do think it's also in terms of like the character, it's very like fatalistic, but like in a weird way, it's actually I wouldn't quite say like hopeful or something like that, but it's like it, it's kind of saying like everybody's kind of going through something, and almost
Yeah.
like visually implying like like empathy. This guy has seen so much shit, and like how many days does this movie take place over? Like a week, like 4 days or something. Like I mean, and it's just like you've just been, Sonny has just been put through the ringer, utterly destroyed, but like other people's lives are still going on.
Yeah.
Um, we want Sonny to be happy one day. We want him to triumph or whatever the story is kind of saying. But I think man is to Matt's point, it's this larger, it's like the world is larger than you and kind of like your
Yeah.
problems and whatnot. And
Okay, well,
that's a great
okay, well, Tubbs is happy. His Trudy's
Tubbs is
Yeah.
alive.
happy. Oh,
Good for,
very minor detail. Yeah, that scene makes me cry, man. When her finger
yeah.
clenches and he grabs it, nurse, and he was actually a really weird detail. And I would we might need to do like a 5 minute follow up a week from now or whatever. Go back to that shot. The very last shot of him holding her hand actually ends in a freeze frame. It's like
Hmm.
I'm telling you, it's like a 6 frame freeze frame. It's
Hmm.
odd, but it's great. I love that movie or that moment. Excuse me. And
Well, clearly you love the movie.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Uh, can I do one tiny thing, Doug, and then we can like totally wrap it up
Whatever,
now that
man.
we.
It's your show.
I hope not. I'm sorry.
It is today.
Oh no. I just thought one interesting thing would be, and I just did cursory Wikipedia research. since this is a film from 20 years ago, to sort of put a context around what films were coming out when this movie came out,
Hmm.
because the film industry shifts and shifts so quickly, and I think it's interesting. And a lot of these films are great. Um, I'm not even talking about taste, quality, anything like that. It's just a mere. So there's two cheats. The first two technically came out in 2005, but played like one festival or
Hmm.
was released like at Christmas. But the wide releases are technically in 2006. And then one is a TV episode in 2006. Okay. The first two cheats, Michael Haneke's Caché, Terrence Malick's The New World. And then the TV cheat is one of John Carpenter's penultimate directing efforts. Who we all love, John Carpenter. He did a Masters of Horror TV episode, which, if you haven't, called Pro Life.
I don't think I've seen this.
It's
Yeah, I
so there was
haven't.
a series called Masters of Horror in this
Yeah.
era, and it was like they got all these horror directors to do like 1 hour,
Okay.
Tales from the Crypt or whatever, style, like kind of episodes. But anyways, so those three films, and then I'm just gonna blast through these, and these are not chronological. Like I said, I love some of these, I don't like some of these. It doesn't matter. It's gonna paint a really fascinating uh milieu, to use that word.
Yeah, I'm actually interested because me and Mike were going through stuff about, like, I was like, what, the 40th, 30th, 20th, and like 10th anniversaries of this year. So I
Oh,
I jotted down what was like all of those. So
oh,
I have like my own little 20th anniversary list.
oh.
Yeah.
Okay, crazy.
I
Yeah,
don't
crazy.
that
Yeah.
summer, like the big movie was the Pirates of the Caribbean sequel. If I
Yeah, that is
Oh,
not on my
right.
list.
Yeah, I know.
It's not
Yeah,
on my
I
list.
know.
So it's also
Well, I
not on my
just
list.
box office wise.
Yeah, right. I know.
Um, Also, I think like the Wikipedia was mostly like American releases, so these are primarily American releases. But I think that also paints an interesting portrait of like where movies were at this time. Okay, I'm gonna run through these like super quick. Bang, Spike's Inside Man, Mission Impossible 3. I only mention that because that's the previous year was Capote, and Mission Impossible 3 was Phil's only credit in 2006. Altman's final film, Prairie Home Companion, Linklater, A Scanner Darkly, M. Night, Lady in the Water, Aronofsky's The Fountain, Talladega Nights, that's for you guys,
Yeah.
Crank, Southland Tales, Snakes on a Plane, Idiocracy, a movie that is totally irrelevant, Neil LaBute's Wicker Man remake with Nick Cage, How Did It Burn, Rocky Balboa, that's for you, Doug, G. Del T's Pan's Labyrinth, Marty, The Departed, Todd Field's Little Children, Nolan, The Prestige, Nolan Pill 2026, Quran, Children of Men, and finally, I've mentioned him multiple times, rest in peace, David Lynch, Inland Empire.
Yeah.
That's a wild year, man.
Yeah,
Styles,
we
you
had
forgot Click.
I didn't.
Yeah,
That's on my list.
um for the horror heads, there was also a weird, like, this was the year of Hostel, Alex Aja's Hills Have Eyes remake, Saw 3, arguably the grossest Saw movie, The Descent, Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. It's just really fascinating because I sarcastically mentioned the reboot trend and the remake trend and everything, and these are all like crazy. No matter kind of what you think of them, these are all like pretty wild. I know The Departed is an adaptation or something is like whatever. I mean, Lady in the Water, what? Like, it's crazy. Like, that movie's crazy, and it's just it's a really, and we're still talking about The Prestige and Children of Men, and Inland Empire just came out on Criterion like a whatever 2 years ago or a year ago. Um,
Yeah, I
it's a
wrote
really
down.
fascinating time. People always remember 2007 because of Blood, No
Oh,
Country,
right, of
etc.,
course.
Michael Clayton, etc. But
Yeah, Michael Clayton's great. Uh, just anything that you missed that like I did write down Click, but I wasn't gonna say it, but I will now. So in that respect, I did also write down Grandma's Boy because that came out I think in January that year. But I actually did write down 16 Blocks because that's Richard Donner's last movie, and I actually really like that movie. And I did write down Inside Man, Nacho Libre, obviously this movie. Half Nelson came out that year. I did write down The Fire
Yeah.
as well. Borat came out that year. Uh, Deja Vu came out, which I actually really like, a Tony Scott
Hmm.
movie. The Tenacious D movie, I did write down Rocky and obviously Children of Men. The Host came out. Uh,
Yeah.
Yes.
and then also obviously The Departed, and then I wrote down Once. Once came out, and
I thought once was a set. Well, maybe not.
well,
300 2006 as well.
oh,
Zack Snyder.
I've never seen Zack Snyder, but Jerry Celluloid loves that, and that's an Easter egg somebody can pick up if they want. Um,
Can
Anyway, it
any
was very interesting writing down these like anniversaries, by the way, because I started at 40 and then 30, and I just felt like this is kind of it almost felt downgrading. Like I felt like I wrote so many things down for the 40th, which by the way, this is Manhunter's 40th anniversary as well. That's why that's
Yeah.
coming back out, and definitely want to go to that. But like, like Blue Velvet and Platoon and Stand By Me, Color of Money, Big Trouble in Little China, Down by Law, Texas Chainsaw 2, even like Three Amigos, like that's the 40 year. And it's just like, look at that quality, compared
Yeah.
to the 20 in a way. But don't get me wrong, there's incredible movies in the 20. And then the 30-year anniversary, which is like in the 90s, like that is actually like my biggest list. And there's probably a little more I even wrote down like Mars Attacks and Beavis and Butthead and all that. But anyway, uh fucking 20th
So,
anniversary, guys, of Miami Vice. Like, uh and now we got our longest fucking episode, and it's gonna be really fun to edit this.
I'm on I'm on the Letterboxd page for 2006 movies, and it like ranks them by how popular they are on Letterboxd. And you'll never guess what movie is directly next to Miami Vice.
Did we
is
say
it
it already?
No, no.
Wow,
It's
I have no idea. What
is it
is it?
the
it's
Ant Bully?
Failure to Launch, starring Matthew McConaughey and Kate Hudson. And in fact, Miami Vice is slightly less popular than Just My Luck, starring Lindsay Lohan. It's like a sandwich, and then Just My Luck and Failure to Launch are the two pieces of bread. Miami Vice is the.
What number is Miami Vice?
It's not like numbered. It's just like a
Oh,
whole like
okay.
row
I
of
got
like
you. I got you.
movie posters.
All right.
There's like
Well,
a Barbie movie right here too. Scary Movie 4. These are
oof,
the real like. This is the real company that Miami Vice keeps in the minds of cinephiles everywhere.
I know. I didn't even.
It's like Barbie and the 12 Dancing Princesses.
Can
All
can
right.
any can anybody name the Woody Allen film that Miami Vice opened against?
Oh,
Oh
so wait, wait,
06.
is that match
Scoop.
point year?
Scoop, right?
Lingo
Or
got it.
Match Point was before. Like a classic Woody Allen thing where he has Match Point, everyone's like, hell yeah, he's back. And it's like, what does he do next? Scoop. Like, what people really want is for me to play an old magician.
Amazing. Well, speaking of magic, 20th anniversary of Miami Vice. Thank you guys for coming on, the Vice Boys. Um, we shut down the world one year to watch this movie. Styles changed his whole fucking life on Michael Mann that day. So it was all worth it, you know. And
Oh
now we're
yeah.
sitting here in 2026, 20th anniversary, talking about Vice, and Fauci's in a hearing. So I don't know. Mr.
Yeah.
Cleveland Film, thank you for hey, thanks for being here. You
Well,
did you
thanks
said
for
some
making
great.
me watch Miami Vice again for the first time in 20 years. Maybe it'll be more than 20 years before the
Yeah.
next screening.
And then also
I
by
hope
the
it's
end of
less than 20 years.
Yeah. Or yeah, less. Yeah, yeah. We're trying to get a local screening here. We're hoping, maybe one of our friends at
Uh-huh.
theaters will indulge us.
I'm sure you could.
yeah.
I read, I have a friend of mine who manages a movie theater, and he told me that anytime you see Miami Vice like screened in rep, you know it's the theatrical cut because for some reason that's the only one they'll license. Like you can't show the director's like I
Yeah.
can't remember what's the Universal. Like
Yeah.
they literally will not like license. I don't know if that's like a rights thing or what it is, but
Uh,
anyone out there who sees it like listed showing somewhere, you can rest assured that it's going to be the right version because that's apparently the only version they'll ever show in theaters.
nice. Yeah, hopefully we can get that going. And then also hopefully all this talk and I hope we made turned even Mike Wen over here, Mr. Cleveland Film, like he's like, you know what? That is a great movie, and I'm gonna keep watching that throughout my life. Right?
I should. Yes.
All right. And thank you, Styles Wolfbaker. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for taking notes. For real though, that was awesome to, because that's just kind of what we do here. I like to keep it, just how we hang out. And it still was. But yeah,
Th-
your
uh,
last
yeah,
words.
yeah. Thank you for having me. I hope I wasn't too long-winded, and yeah, man, I love you guys, and I love talking Vice. And unfortunately, your whole OPSEC is blown, but that's all right.
I love it. Yeah, this is gonna be the longest edit of the show so far. I can't wait to do it. And thank you to Lingo, Matt Lingo. Thank you for coming on. Last words, buddy.
Yeah, I'm just glad as always to be proven right about this movie for 20 years and counting. I feel exceptionally vindicated right now. Oh no, it was great. Nothing better than talking about Miami Vice with the Vice boys. So thanks for having me.
Of course, buddy. Thank you guys. Vice Boys, Mr. Cleveland Film, Miami Vice, 20 years. Always a pleasure to talk about this movie and Michael Mann any day of the fucking week. And we
All right,
are,
so we're recording another podcast about this tomorrow, right?
yeah, we're going to do part 2 tomorrow.
Yeah.
Fiends for Mojitos.
Found in the shape of things